嘿，嘿，好，
Happy Thursday. It's me.
It's you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh,
yeah.
She needs to get the,
Yes.
she needs the, whoops. No. She needs the, I'm tripping. She needs that. She did need that. Why is this not working? Oh, no. Oh, well. Stuff blows up every day.
Every day.
Every dang dog day. How y'all doing? Carrie, thank you for the stars. I don't know why my starburst is not going off, but maybe I do. There's something. Oh, it's like.
Murphy's Law.
Well, yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, it could be Murphy's Law.
Oh, we got Roger Chaffee in the house.
Roger,
Hey, Roger.
in the house. How you doing, Roger? I'm trying to sort out all these things so that I can make stuff work the way it's supposed to.
Say hello to Wade for us.
And say hello to my little friend. No.
Who's your little friend?
It's a gun.
Oh. Ha.
All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, no supersonic things there. So, well.
Carrie wants to know where the bird named Pearl is. Well,
I don't know.
She would be with TJ.
I assume she's in the Keys, but well, I can only hope. But I would like to call your attention to that song, actually, boys and girls, because we've been playing the music that I did with Bryn Callen all week. And that song, I didn't realize what the fourth song I was going to play for the four songs that we recorded in the studio. And I didn't realize that fourth song was, I did that song with, I wrote that song. It's an interesting story. I wrote that song with Chris Cassone. He's an engineer, songwriter, guitar player, very talented guy. Probably known best for some of the, well, anyway, Chris is, he's awesome. And Cassone, hang on, I'm trying to find out where my stars are. Because you know how that goes. So, Joe Berger, and you can, if you pick up a program, you can find out who everybody is. Joe Berger calls me up and said, do you have any songs for a boy band?
Right.
I said, any songs for a boy band? Joe, I said, I really don't know. Do I have any songs for a boy band? I don't know. And I was looking through, my catalog of what I had, and I, for some reason, I can't. This part of it, I don't remember, but I know that Chris Cassone said, I wrote this kind of funky riff kind of song, and maybe you could do something with that. And he brought it over, and it was perfect. And I wrote those lyrics, but I did it whatever year it was. And it's funny because I'm sorry, guys, I'm just looking for these things, and I just don't know where they are. I feel like I'm lost in space, or spaced and lost.
Well, I got something funny for
But
you.
anyway, so Chris and I write the song. Oh, Chris already had done his part. And I write the lyrics, and I overdub the vocals in my studio. And I go down. Joe says, come on down to Louis' studio and meet the guys. Their mothers will be there. Now, does anybody remember the band Dream Street?
I'm not thinking maybe.
No, you're not thinking they do?
I'm thinking these people are probably older than that.
Well, they might have children.
Maybe.
All right. Well,
with
anyway.
Jesse McCartney.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, Jesse McCartney, right? So Jesse McCartney, you might know Jesse McCartney. Good. You might know Jesse McCartney from his solo work, or you might know him from Punk'd, where this is a very fair-haired little boy band kid that kind of pop idolish, but not quite all the way.
Kind of full of himself.
So I go down and I meet the parents, and I meet the kids in the band, and he says to me, Joe tells me you're the best drummer in the world. I said, that's very nice. He said, let's hear you play something.
Yeah.
I said, you must be new to the business, kid. He said, what? I said, no pay, no play. handed Joe the CD, gave the kid a dirty look, and left.
And
then,
years later,
he's a big pop star now, not in Little Dream Street pushing their demo.
He's made a name for himself.
He has done it, true, bona fide. And Ashton Kutcher had him on Punk'd. Puts him in a situation where he's in a limousine, and the limousine driver says, "I have to make a very quick stop. I'll be right back." And he pulls over and knocks over with the limousine 4 or 5 choppers.
Harleys, yeah. Biker bikes.
And he says, "I'll be right back," and he leaves. So now you got this limo
with little Jesse McCartney.
With little Jesse, rock star McCartney in the back seat.
Well, he's not a kid anymore.
No,
he's of age.
Whatever. He's big kid.
He's old enough to get punked by Ashton Kutcher.
And the bikers come.
Banging on the windows. And he starts crying. Now, they say that if that karma is to be, that's dealt by God. You should let God sort out these problems, not up to you. But if you're good, sometimes he lets you watch. And we got to see it.
Okay, well, guess who's here early, and I want to get into this.
Wait a minute, I got to tell you what Carrie's got to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Carrie, go ahead. Spit it out.
Her name is Carrie Ash. Get it? She says, Jeff says he can't watch the show. He's kissing too much ash.
Yeah.
Because Steve said last night, we'll see you tomorrow night, Carrie Ash. And Jeff, kiss my
Let me ask you something. Carrie, you don't have a portable? No, I don't want to go here. Because if they're watching in a coffee shop. People, are you there tonight?
That's right. They're watching in a coffee shop.
I was going to say something about a television, but I'm not. I'm not going there at all. In fact, I'm hoping that knocking on my door as we speak is TJ
McGann.
And if we're lucky, he's with
Pearl.
So let's see. Doorbell?
Ooh.
Come in. It's open.
Where you at, TJ?
I got to get that. There he is.
Hey!
All right.
Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
All right, that's Pearl.
That's Hi,
Hey,
Pearl. We've been talking about you all week, darling. How are you?
That's my great companion of 32 years.
Wow.
Very cool.
I see her walking on the beach all the time on Facebook.
we follow her social media quite closely.
You know, she got hit by a car 15 years ago, broke her left leg and her right foot.
Oh, no.
She used to run 200 yards a day on the beach, but now she hobbles. She hobbles about a quarter of a mile every day. And then we do simulated bird flight, so I get her to fly.
Yeah.
And she absolutely loves walking. And
that's
great. As you know, it keeps her young. It keeps her alive.
Yeah, check her out.
He took her out on the beach on the full moon last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had her on the beach with the full moon.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we walk on the beach, and then after sunset, I put her in my jacket, and I just take a walk around the water, and it's so beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm very lucky. She's toilet trained, quiet, and polite. She hasn't crapped on me in 23 years.
Really?
Well, how about, and on nobody else? You're good?
Nobody else.
That's great.
My friends say, I told my friend that they see a guy walking around with a parrot in Key West to say hello. It's TJ. I say, no. You have to tell your friends if you see a guy walking around with a parrot on his back without bird crap down his back. That's TJ.
Right. I'm sure there's quite a few people with parrots in Key West.
How come no one says, hey, if you see a white bird walking around with a guy, her name's Pearl?
Isn't she pink like BJ?
I'm sure that's happened too.
Okay, well, there you go.
I think she's pink, Stevie.
So what's going on? I mean, you're in Key West. How fantastic is that? Do you love it?
It's the greatest place to be hiding out during a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's so safe. It's probably the safest place in the world because since the pandemic, I've become an expert on viruses and economics and politics and religion and serial killers. And there's no serial killers here. Everywhere else in the world, there's serial killers. No serial killers in Key West. One road in, one road out.
Wow, no serial killers. But
I know who's there.
I must contend there is someone else there that strikes fear into the hearts of many.
He scares us.
Are you talking about the guitar players?
No, Robert.
No, I'm talking about Robert.
Oh, Robert. Yeah, he creeps me out.
Yeah, we didn't go see him. We went outside where he is.
Did you ever go in there?
I went in with my friend from California, Michelle, and we were. She said to the guy, "What are you kidding me? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm getting out of here."
Is she still alive?
She's still alive. Yeah, but she's.
We know.
Did you come down here to see Robert?
Not specifically. No. I just popped by. We went down. I don't even remember why we were there. Because we live close enough to.
No, we stayed in the Keys overnight.
Right, but we've been there more than once. With the time we saw Robert was a day trip.
Day trip, right? And we decided.
We just decided to drive 300-400 miles in a day, and
I had read about Robert.
We had, Well, see, Lori is the haunting freak. She's
I don't like haunted things.
She thinks that fog is out to get her.
I do not. I had a ghost experience when I was.
That was part of our trip, but no, we did not come there to see him, and he was locked up, and we did not go in.
But I had my picture taken with the cutout of him on the outside of the building.
Oh, that's creepy. Listen, I love conspiracies. I think there were 6 gunmen in Delhi Square that whacked Kennedy, and 3 of them had silencers and 3 of them didn't. I love conspiracies, but that Robert creeps me out. I can't go near that kind of stuff.
No, I believe in all that kind of stuff.
That's just right in that sweet spot of weird that you're not going to get away from. So yeah. And speaking of the Kennedy murder, I was playing in Dallas on some arena on a Sunday, and the guy took me. One of the bouncers from the venue took me to that spot, and there was nothing going on the street. There was nobody on the street. I could stand right on the spot and look up at the book depository. It was one of the strangest things I've ever done in my life.
Did they have the X's in the street?
No.
I was there 4 years ago. It was the most haunting experience, really cold, sober experience. I couldn't believe how close the grassy knoll is to now they have 2 X marks where the shots were at the moment in time where they were shot, and I can't believe that place. It's so freaky. I tell you, to stand there because. Yeah. And I don't know I don't know if there's traffic or not. Like I said, it was on a Sunday, and this guy took me there and pulled the car over and told me where to stand and told me to look at it. It was just, the angle. It looks like every picture you've ever seen. But anyway, it was.
I gotta tell you, I like your shirt.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Love it. It's my socializing. Tuesdays, Ross for less, old person discount day. They give you 10% off for being old.
It's great.
Wow.
Thank you. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't suck getting old.
You know someone that's old?
Yeah. Pearl.
I'm not old.
No, we don't give it up there. This is the Peter Pan show, man.
Oh, Carrie loves your shirt too, she said.
I have to thank Carrie so much for putting me in touch with you and your lovely wife, Lori.
Oh, thank you, man. It's the same back to you, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I was a little kid. I was, 16, 17, sneaking into Speaks to watch you guys play Rat Race Choir. You were like one of my great musical influences.
Oh,
you
cool.
and Kenny Laguna, Joan Jett's manager, because
I know Kenny for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, great guy. So I always heard Kenny Laguna music stories, and you know, he played with Tommy James and the Shondells, and I actually got sober through Tommy James and Les Paul.
Oh.
So but it was you guys.
Wow, man.
I would sneak in, I would go, all my friends, we would go, and you guys influenced, and you brought so much joy to so many people in those 70s and onward. Thank you.
Believe me, it was a pleasure, and thank you for remembering. And you know, it's incredible to me that I say it all the time when we get to this place, with the part and the place of music where we were at that time. That was a once in a lifetime apex intersecting of whatever, you know, and it was such a legendary time, and so much stuff was born out of that time. You know,
we came into effects, we came into the liberation of funk and all kinds of genre coming into that decade. And of course it blossomed out further, but we had the 60s and then the 70s, just all of this stuff blossomed, and you had a lot of people making pedal effects for musicians, and you know, different drums, and you know, it was the gong came out.
Yeah, the gong came out all right. It came out. I still have. Well, I have most of my toys. I have most of the stuff. I think the gong got lost in the shuffle, though. I still have my orchestra chimes.
Yeah.
And
you could put the gong behind you.
I could do that. Yes, I could.
He had a rear view mirror set up, so
I had back in the days that you're talking about.
You're
at Speaks. You're talking about probably the Chrome 5 set. Would that sound right?
I think so. I think so, because now I do remember a Chrome set. Yeah.
Right, and it was actually a one of a kind, that set. Can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. I'll try. But,
because I remember that Chrome set, and then they had a plexiglass set, just like the Dan Armstrong plexiglass guitars. And
right. Well, anyway, I in the middle of that set, because there was so much stuff around me, and I had the gong on this side, the chimes on this side, and monitors and drums all in a whole circle, and cymbals. I had one of those convex rear view mirrors on my little cymbal, so I could, you know, I needed to check the style, but this way I could see which way the gong was swinging, or didn't turn around and get a roadie in the mouth with an elbow. So I was well equipped.
You know, we all have. I just, nowadays, getting older, and in this pandemic, you have a lot of time to think, and it's, you know, I was so lucky to get into the guitar world. And I just sold 108 of my vintage guitars.
Wow.
3 years ago. I'm talking to my stockbroker teacher, and I'm like, market's going to crash. Everything's going to crash. Never knew it would be a pandemic. So I sold all my guitars, and the market went up 15-20%, but I don't care. I'm glad I sold them and got out. But I was very lucky, because hanging out in Island Park, you know, it was like Mafia Central.
I know the family.
You know, Tommy Roselli, one of the 5 crime families, he lived in Long Beach. Carlos Gambino lived 3 towns over in Massapequa. And down the block from me, right down the block, was Henry Hill from Goodfellas. And Big Paulie Vario lived 3 blocks away, and the real Tony Soprano lived 6 blocks away.
Wow.
So I'm about 10 years old, 11 years old. And my mother says, go get a haircut around the corner. And Georgie Fellis was the stylist, and everybody loved Georgie. He was just one of those guys from Island Park, and everybody loved him. He was such a sweetheart. And I'd walk in and I'd say, my mother wants and he'd say, I know, she wants the Robert F. Kennedy cut. Sit down. And I'd sit down, and he'd cut my hair. One day, this is the greatest tip I ever got. One day he's cutting my hair, and I'm falling asleep in the chair, and I hear the door open, and whack. He lightly whacks me on the back of the head and says, "All right, get out of here, kid. I got customers." Right? And I look up, and it's 3 of the Goodfellas mobsters.
Oh.
And I'm like 11, 10, 11. And the first book I read outside of a class, in school, was the Valachi Papers. I love the mafia stuff, but I have no attention span, so I wrote. I read 7/8 of it, and then I said, "Out of hell with it! I'm going to watch Charles Bronson in the movie." So I'm walking with my back to the mirror, sideways, with my head on a 45-degree angle, in awe, looking at these guys with ankle-length leather jackets, shark skin suits, patent leather shoes, and I'm walking. I'm staring at the guy, and the middle guy, who was probably Jimmy Conway, Robert De Niro's character. He pulls out a wad of $100 bills, and he fingers through them, and he pulls out a 5, and he says, "Here you go, kid. Now get the fuck out of here." And I'm like, okay, the greatest tip I ever got. You learn to respect people like that.
Okay, you want to play 6 Degrees of Separation now? Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to get around to making these stories meet, but you know that it was Phil Bazille that speaks. And Philly was part of that whole gambit. That was his family, right?
And that was Breakout Records. Breakout Records, yeah.
Right. And so one of the capos is a guy named Greg De Palma, who you may know when he did his second bid, his cellmate was Jimmy Conway.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gets better. It gets better. It was Greg who brought, he's dead, so I guess I can't get in trouble for this,
no.
Who brought from Jimmy to everybody the $1 million hit on Henry Hill. Thank you very much. Now, Greg's son, Michael, major Rat Race Choir fan. Greg calls Philly, kid's 16, you're gonna let my son in. Okay, no problem. He's there, comes for years, never, I don't meet this kid, nothing, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, I'm in my 20s and I meet this guy who's a thoracic surgeon. And he's 20 years older than I am, but one of the greatest guys, he's into dramas, blah, blah, blah. We score, unlikely friendship. Turns out that he's part of the Premier Theater. And if you remember the Premier Theater, that's where the very famous picture of Frank Sinatra and Carlo Gambino and Greg De Palma's on the other side.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm getting all these tickets to go and see all these shows. I mean, I saw Diana Ross, I saw Barry White, 7th row center, because you know what's going on there. Come to find out, my friend Alan is doing bullet jobs in his Scarsdale basement.
Okay, for you that don't know what mob talk is, that means that
the
mob guys get
if you got shot, you went to doctor.
You went to this guy's house, to this doctor's house.
Anyway.
Yeah, we got a vet dude who does that. A veterinarian down the block does it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay, there you go. So,
well,
long story short, I go to Alan's, the doctor has some kind of event, and he sits me at Greg's table.
Well,
and he says, "What's going on, guys?" And we said, this and that. Thanks for taking care of my son. He's such a big fan. Blah blah blah. My other son. Blah blah blah. And he said, "So what's new?" And we said, we're looking for a car." And his wife Terry says, "Oh, the kids need a car. Give them a car, Greg." And it's like, oh, and he says, I said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." And so we'll sit there, and I don't know back then that he is this person, right?
No, but he knew you.
But he knew me through his son and through Philly and the whole.
His son.
So I said to Alan, I said, "Greg's gonna offer to give me a car." He said, "You better check the trunk." And I think to myself, "Holy shit!" Right? So we go. I guess it was the engagement party for Alan's wife's daughter. So we go to the wedding. And this is back in the days, remember the old gray 550 cell phone, the Motorola flip phone with the little antenna.
Yeah, like on episode 67 of Miami Vice, where Sonny Crockett pulls it out. Yeah,
there you go. Right. So I have one of those on the inside of my jacket. Now I'm wearing a white pinstripe coat with a black shirt with a white tie and whatever the hell else, slacks. And who's standing at the entrance to the catering place but Greg? He says, "Oh, come here, son," and he gives me the big, and he feels the phone in my pocket, and he goes, "You come heavy to a wedding?"
Okay, for those of you that don't know, that means
you're bringing a gun
are you bringing a gun?
But it was amazing. You think about it today, but it was amazing how much the mob ran the world, but how much they ran the music industry.
Yep.
Like, my friend, his family was one of the biggest heroin importers of the late 20th century for the Genovese family, and he was all screwed up. He was we were all partying, but my friend Louis Carollo was in a band with him, and Louis comes to me one day and says, "Hey, we can't get him out of the band because he played flute like Ian Anderson. He loved Death Motel." Louis goes, "Steve, we can't get him out of the band. We tried to get him out, but he threatened to beat us all up." And he could, because he was a tough guy. But his father said to me once, and I moved back to town. I became friends with him, and his father really liked that because Ronnie, the guy was a little sick, and his father said to me, "TJ, anything you can think of, and I mean anything, I've done twice."
Wow.
But it was insane that time period and how they ran the music industry. They ran everything, trucking and, the whole thing.
Garbage.
They survived.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But,
come on. Steve's favorite movie is The Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, if you know.
You know what? Mine is Goodfellas. 15 minutes, 32 seconds in, where Henry, he's 15 years old in the kitchen, and his father comes in and goes, "Henry, how's school going?" He goes, "Oh, Dad, it's going great." Father pulls off his belt, throws the report card, and starts beating the crap out of him. And in Ray Liotta's voice, he goes, "At 15, I realized everyone's got to take a beating every once in a while."
I think I'll go from rags to riches. Believe me, I got the vowel hanging at the end of my name, bro. It's almost part of my DNA to know those movies.
Now, let's
That's
segue.
it for you, Hill.
Let's segue a minute. Carrie just brought up something. She said, "I don't see a name on that headstock."
Yeah, I was going to get over to the
Mr.
no machines.
Luthier.
No machines on the telly headstock.
Yeah, you're a luthier.
WD Music. It's a licensed Fender neck. They're incredible, right? I like an ebony fingerboard with a flat radius. So this has a 14. It has a 12-inch radius with medium jumbo frets, maple back. But it's totally incredible. The greatest necks I've ever played. So I have to do a fret grinding on them, level peak polish. I got to cut a new bone nut on them, and it is the greatest necks. I buy Strat bodies, and sometimes you just find a body, a Fender Stratocaster, and I put these on, and because the old vintage, these have a 12-inch radius. They're quite flat. The vintage have a 6.25, a 7.25, or a 9.25, and they're rounded. So when they're rounded, you got to go. It's like going uphill to stretch the string. This is flat, so it bends. Now, my acquaintance, Mr. Jackson from Jackson Guitar, Grover Jackson. I was doing some work with a great jazz guitar player, Howard Alden, and I brought him to the NAMM show and got him a bunch of endorsements. And Howard is one of the great 7-string jazz guitar musicians of the world. Frank Sinatra hired him twice to do his birthday party when he was a kid, and he played with George Van Epps. So Grover Washington comes up and says, "TJ, could you get Howard maybe I get a picture of Howard playing," and he's really shy, playing my guitar, and it's this flying V with red flames, and I look and I go, and he's like a little set back, and he's, "Do you think you can get?" I go, no, The only way I can get a picture with Howard with that guitar is if you're in it. And buddies. So I brought Howard down to his factory in between LA and San Diego, in Orange County there.
Yeah. The OC will do.
So we're hanging out, and I said, wow, you're a man of music history. You created heavy metal music along with Johnny Winter, because Johnny brought in Ronnie Montrose, and the first guys to play guitar sounded like a motorcycle. And it just went out. And then, and unfortunately, Johnny Winter's not a household name, and credit that's due to him. But Grover Jackson, we sat down and I said, wow, that's such a great story I heard about Ozzy's guitar player.
Jack?
No,
Wild?
the one who died in the airplane. Famous. Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads.
Oh, yeah.
He said to me, he was such a gentleman. He was such a gentle soul. He called me up, and we met in a diner, and he asked me to build a guitar, and he drew out the design on the diner napkin. And I went home and built him the guitar. But he said that he was working with Wayne Chauvel Guitars in 75.
Would you please?
Okay.
Go ahead. No.
So he said that the cat from Pink Floyd, the guitar player from Pink Floyd, came in with his 62 Strat and said, I want you to put in a 14-inch radius on my Strat because it's got a 7.25 or a 6.7. It had a high round radius. So Grover flattens the fingerboard to a 14, and we get Pink Floyd. Now, I've never had a midlife crisis. Harry, I never had a midlife crisis. So I'm having a post-midlife crisis. And I went out and bought me a Chauvel reverse headstock shredding guitar. Now,
okay.
So I got to do a fret grinding on it, but this has the 14-inch radius, which is a flat radius on there. I think you can see that.
I can see that,
Yeah,
and I know about that. Believe me, I know about that as well as what's the neck? Is it a V neck or a C neck or is it flat? What?
This is a classic vintage C neck. This is maybe what they call a D neck. It's a fast guitar because it doesn't have this thick wood in here. It's cut away.
Oh wow! Look what I found.
Oh, I just sold one of those. That's beautiful. Let me see. Oh, and you got the 2-post. You got it's a hardtail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What year is that?
70.
Before me.
It's like one of the very.
Let me see the headstock. Oh, it's a Fender Chauvel headstock. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the old original. These is from what I understand, this is one of the first guitars or one of the original guitars that he made.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It doesn't even.
Yeah, and it's got the on off, in and out of phase. Where it's so it's like the combinations of hung pickup sounds on this thing. It's ridiculous, but I had to
Did you get that at Sam Ash?
No, I got it at East Coast Sound from Ed Roman.
I remember Ed.
Yeah,
$315.
I went to Ed's place. I ran away and hid in Danbury while I had a lawsuit going on. So we're just as little kids attracted. I was always attracted to guitars. I was like 12. I was reading about Les Paul and Bing Crosby, and Les made a record cutting machine out of a 1948 Cadillac flywheel.
Yeah.
But I went up to Ed's house, Ed's shop, and I'm just very lucky. A lot of professionals and inventors in the music business, they like me. It's really, and I've become friends with so many of them. And Ed says, "Hey, you want to see my workshop?" And I go back there. He's a big workshop. He's building Gibson Les Pauls. He's building, and he kind of alluded to maybe he had permission, but knowing Ed, probably didn't.
Well, okay. Listen, I know Ed I know Ed from. I bought that guitar from. It has to be '78. When his store was on Main Street in Danbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, before he went into East Coast Sound or whatever, that was,
Oh, right.
It was, and that's how far that goes back, and it's, it's a long story. But I know Ed, rest in peace. He was he was a fixture back there.
Yeah, I saw him about 6 years ago at the NAMM show. One of the maybe just before he passed, a couple of years.
Maybe a little longer than that.
And he was always a friendly guy to me. Guitar players can't stand people selling guitars because you're trying to buy my guitar cheap and this and that. And he was always that's what we did. That's the business end of it. But he was always a nice guy. Now,
he was.
He was a huge Rat Race
fan.
Yeah,
he was. He was a huge Rat Race fan. Oh yeah. In fact, somebody just gave me. They sent it digitally. The cover of East Coast Sound catalog,
right?
And it's me and the guitar player and the bass player from Rat Race, and they're playing BC Riches.
Bernie Rico. He changed the guitar world. He made walnut guitars, necks through the body. But I got to have a timeout. Okay.
Okay.
Do you know who the godfather of the modern day production guitar is? He is the father of the modern day production guitar. All these guys were in Southern California with Paul Bigsby, who was this great motorcycle engine builder, motorcycle racer. But the father of the guitar said to Paul Bigsby, Bigsby makes the tailpiece.
I know the Bigsby tailpiece.
He made the first 6-string bass in 1947. So the Godfather, smoke that cigarette. Tell St. Peter at the pearly gates, I hate to have him wait, but I got to have another cigarette. Merle Travis. Merle said to Paul, I want you to build me a guitar that has six tuners in a row, not 3 and 3 like a Gibson, because I don't want the strings to get stuck up on an angle. And I want this big, beautiful headstock pearly thing here look like a lute. Looks like one of those fancy lutes from Europe. And I want the neck through the body, and I want this cutaway, and I want you to drill a hole in the back so I can put the strings through the body and pull them out the bridge and get sustained from the whole entire body. So Paul Bigsby builds him this guitar, and I got to play the guitar with Scott at Scott Chinnery's house. Scott Chinnery was a huge guitar collector. He passed away, but he was a huge collector. I got to play that guitar, and so Merle's, my dear friend is Merle's son, Tom Bresch, one of the great fingerstyle guitar players in the world, one of the great entertainers. And Tom told me this story, and we all know this story, us in the know in the guitar world. So Merle's neighbor in 1948 comes over and says, Merle, you know that guitar that Paul built you? I'm building amplifiers, but I want to start building guitars. You think you can lend me that guitar? I want to, just get some diagrams off it. And Merle said, sure, go ahead. You know who his neighbor was?
Had to be Les Paul.
Leo Fender.
A Leo Fender. Oh, God.
String through the body.
Right.
Right over there.
Gotcha.
And the Leo headpiece, the Bigsby was a little bit like that. It was the same design. And
wow.
And the father was Merle Travis.
That's incredible. And let me tell you, I'm sure John Entwistle had a legendary guitar collection, and it was amazing what he showed me. Plank basses, broadcasters. I mean, things that you do. It's insane.
Did you ever see the '58 Corona Explorer? I think he had. Used to see pictures.
Yes, and I know where it went.
Oh, really?
Well, the Explorer went, this is, all right.
Sold everything
This is what I was going to say to you earlier about selling your collection.
Yeah.
It's worse when someone else sells your collection.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay? I want you to feel good today. This is a feel-good show. And when someone else sells your collection, it's bad for everybody.
It means that you're no longer here to sell your collection.
And he had that Explorer, and he had a Flying V. Both single digits. Paige got one, and Eddie Vedder got the other. But I don't know which way went. I don't know. I didn't break any sacred trust by telling you that, did I?
No. I always saw pictures of it, but before we run out of time, I got to mention, I got in the professional business through Les Paul, and Les was so unbelievable to my life. I got sober through Les, but I hung out with Les for about 150 shows backstage, and then I would come to town when I left New York. I'd come to town for his birthday, and I'd pull my friend. All my friends are busy. I got to go to work tomorrow, except for my friend Louis Carollo. And Louis and I would go like every year to go see Les. And a couple of times we had dinner with Jose Feliciano at the table, and it's just, and it's great eating with Jose because Jose eats with his hands. He doesn't use a fork. You don't even. You look like you're etiquette king. And one time
I was playing with him.
That's funny. Yeah, I have an old friend of mine from back in the day is playing with Jose now.
Yeah,
Steve Traslow on keyboards. Yeah.
So I became really good friends with Les's daughter Colleen, and we have just a really. I met her a few years ago, and I told her what her dad did for me, and we're very good friends. And so I became friends with Les Paul through my friend John Guido. Now, John Guido was a drummer with Sweet Talk, and he did a little bit of he did some other things, but he was a great drummer. He played at Speaks a lot. And I took John and his wife, and John had this guy, Harry Deutsch, but I nicknamed him Harry the Douchebag, the Deutschbag, Harry the Deutschbag.
Deutschbag, very nice.
And I invented that. So I bring him down. I said, John, let's go see Les Paul. Les knows my name. Because I boast so much, Les would say, "Hey, TJ, how you doing?" And I said, "Les knows my name. Let's go down. I'll introduce you." So we go down, and after the show, we get in my car, and we're driving home, and Harry, the Deutschbag, starts taking off his shirt. He's taking off shirts. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I stole 4 T-shirts from Les Paul."
Oh!
What? Oh. What are you, nuts? I would be kicked out of the club, and I would never be friends with Les Paul, my guitar hero. But I go, what's
for some T-shirts?
So the following week, I go back, and I say to Les, man, I'm really sorry. I brought some people down last week, and this guy stole 4 T-shirts from you. And Les goes, where is he? I said, no, he was here last week. So he says, calls over to his dear son, Rusty. Rusty was, the backbone of Les. Rusty took care of Les and he was always there for Les, and he was just a sweet musical soul. And he had all these great stories about King Curtis. And so Les says, Rusty, how much do we pay for those T-shirts? And Rusty pulls out his notebook, which I carry now. I always get a shirt with a pocket so I can put my notebook and my slide ruler and all this other stupid crap. He goes, and Les goes, forget about it. TJ, you owe me $60.
Oh, wow.
I go, wait a second, Les. I do not intend to pay retail on this deal. I'll pay you wholesale. Les goes, give me $30. I go, here's $30. And he looks at me and he says, why the hell did you tell me? In Les's voice, he goes, why the hell did you tell me this? I said, because you're my guitar hero. And I had the utmost, I would do it for anyone. And so I gave Les $30, and then Les got me a job in the high levels of the guitar repair world. And the first guitar I worked on was Jimmy Page and Sting. And then we did the Smithsonian Institution.
Wow.
Good karma, good karma.
That's good karma.
Carrie wants to know, turtlenecks, she says. Were the T-shirts turtlenecks, or did the guy have on a turtleneck?
No, they weren't turtlenecks. No,
not turtlenecks, Carrie. Okay.
No. Hey, listen, man. You did the right thing.
Yeah,
right?
You did.
I was so fortunate, and then I became friends with all of these great jazz guitar players, and Bucky Pizzarelli. Bucky, I go to Bucky goes, Tej. I go, Bucky. Chicks in high school used to call me Tej. You can call me Tej. Bucky played with Benny Goodman, Sinatra, Tonight Show when it was in New York.
Man.
I'm playing at the Algonquin. You want to come and see? It's like $150 ticket. Here's 2 tickets. And I go there, and Bucky's playing, and he's playing, and he goes, Tej, I'm recording an album on Monday. I go, there's like 300 people there. I go, oh, okay, great. You want to come down and to the recording? I go, yeah, great. Yeah, where is it? Englewood. I go, okay. What time? He goes, 9:30. What time are you going to come down? I said, well, I'll come down around 10:30, 11. You guys warm up. No. I want you to come at 9:30. What time are you coming down? I'll come down at 10:30. I want you at 9:30. I want you to produce this thing, and I'm going to pay you. I said, I'll be at your house at 8:30, so you don't change your mind. So Bucky hired me to produce this CD, and then
wow.
It was called April Showers on Arbor Records. Bucky said it was the best-selling CD on that label, and I was so blessed. Bucky told me this great story. Every year, Bucky would play at the Ridgewood Band Shell, right, with Jay Linhart and some other guys. And Bucky says, I'm the one who got Les Paul out of retirement. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I played a band shell and Les would come, and I go backstage was the grass. It was, it was outside. He goes, it was in July. And he goes, I come outside and Les is laying on the grass drinking a beer. And I walked over and I said, Les, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you get off your ass and start playing again? And Les is like, no one's going to want to hear him. No one's going to cut him. He goes, stop feeling sorry for yourself and go get a goddamn gig. And Les went and got a gig.
That's where Iridium started? Or
At Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Fat
Tuesday. Okay. Yeah.
And then I became friends with the great designer. We all learned from Vinnie Bell. He designed all the Dan Electro guitars in the 50s and the 60s. He told me, Vinnie made it like Abraham Lincoln's story. He goes, I used to go to school till noon, and then they let me go to NBC studios to take guitar lessons from the great Tony Mottola, right? He goes, but on the way, I would stop and visit Nate Daniels, and then we would go down to downtown Brooklyn and hang out with John D'Angelico, and he'd teach us how to do fret jobs. Wow. And then I moved to NBC studios. And Vinny told me he went into NBC studios one day, and he was walking in, and this guy was walking out, and there was a mob around him. He's walking in with his guitar, and the guy walks out, and it's Django Reinhardt.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
And Django says, hey, kids, what are you doing here? He says, I got to take lessons with Tony Mottola. He goes, you come upstairs later and you jam with me.
Oh.
So Vinny goes upstairs later, and it's all these big guys like pushing him away, and Django sees him across the room and says, no, the kid, come and play with me. And he brings up Vinny, and Vinny, he goes, what do you want to play? And Vinny goes, the blues.
Wow.
Blues.
Wow. With Django Reinhardt, that's pretty serious. That was Peter Frampton's guy. Peter loved.
Yeah. Well, Reinhardt. Django had that rhythm. If you listen to it, all of this, that rhythm, that strumming that Johnny Winter does it, and but I gotta say, I was very on a tangent. I hope you don't mind, but I went to one of the great session men, one of the guy who invented all rock and roll riffs in 1957. I went to his 60th birthday party in Shreveport, Louisiana, around the turn of the century. He played on Dale Hawkins' original Susie Q.
Whoa.
James Burton. He made Elvis hip and hip.
Burton.
Every Johnny Winter, Rolling Stones, every riff he played in 1947, except for Lightning Hopkins, Smokestack Lightning, which was about 6 months before that. And Dale Hawkins said, I wrote Susie Q because I heard, not Lightning Hopkins, I heard him singing about Susie Q, so I wrote this song, Susie Q. It was Smokestack Lightning by Howlin' Wolf. I heard Howlin' Wolf sing about some girl named Susie, so I wrote Susie Q. But James Burton plays all those riffs. And, the lineage comes from Django, Charlie Christian, but really from Django to Les Paul to everybody. Because do you know that Les in the 30s and the 40s. Les Paul's rhythm guitar player was Jimmy Atkins. And Jimmy Atkins' younger brother was Chet Atkins.
And
Jimmy used to send recordings to Chet. So they called Les. Les used to record country music as Rhubarb Red and jazz as Les Paul. So I said to Les around 96, I said, Les, I'm going down to Chet Atkins Appreciation Society in Nashville, Tennessee, which is the greatest fingerstyle guitar players in the world. If you ever want to come to Nashville, come that time. I'll show you guys around. So I said, I'm going down to Chet Atkins Appreciation. If I see Chet, you want me to give him a message? And Les says, you tell Chet. So I go down and I have breakfast with Chet one Sunday in July for 3 times. I'm sitting down and I said, Chet, there was like 10 of us. I said, Chet, Chet comes over to each one of us and, I got a name tag and Chet says, hey, TJ, how you doing? And I said, doing great. I got a message from Les Paul for you. So they did an album together, Chester and Lester in 77, 78, won a Grammy. So Chet sits down, he shakes his head, he says, what the hell does he want? Because Les was a little ornery with Chet. They had this little thing going, and he says, so what does he want? I said, me? I'm like so excited. I said, Les says, come to Mahwah, New Jersey, and they're recording a record with you. And Chet takes off his hat and puts it on the table, shakes his head and says, TJ, you tell Red to get his ass on down here to Nashville. I'll record him a proper record and I'll win him another Grammy.
Wow, man. Wow. That's some roots stuff. That's some deep stuff there, man.
Yeah.
So I'm working on Tommy. I gotta mention this, but I'm working on Tommy James's guitar. Tommy is like, TJ, I'm going on tour in Europe. And Tommy is such a great guy. Tommy James. You ever meet Tommy?
No, but I know him through Gene Cornish. Gene always Gene's
So Tommy's like, TJ, I'm going on tour in Europe and I need my 59 Jazzmaster. I need a fret job on. And I said, Tommy, I need it in a week. I go, Tommy, I got like 15 guys threatening to beat me up every day to get their fret jobs. I said, listen, pay me an extra $50, $100, and I'll work all night long at night on it. So he goes, no problem. And I call up Tommy and I go, Tommy, listen, I don't have time to go to the music store to get those particular strings that you use because we use, hold on. We use GHS guitar strings.
Oh, okay.
It's a wonderful company, family owned. And I said, Tommy, you got to go to the music store and bring these strings over. So he goes, no problem. I'll go pick them up now. And he goes over to Victor's Music in Paramus, and he rings the doorbell. It's on the 2nd floor, and I buzz him in, and he's running up the stairs, and I'm running down the stairs, and he goes, here you go. And I go, oh, great. And Tommy looks at me and goes, TJ, thank you so much. I go, oh, what do you mean? He goes, this is awesome. I got so much adrenaline. This is like a drug deal from the 60s. So I'm sitting there doing a fret grind, working, doing a fret job on Tommy James's guitar, and I looked up and I had an epiphany. I said, Les Paul, Tommy James, all these people, they are not going to put up with my alcohol, drug, pot smoking behavior. And that was it. I got on the road to sobriety because of Les Paul and Tommy, and I'm just working on Tommy's guitar.
Bravo, man, bravo.
So Tommy comes in, and the second Les Paul ever made, Black Beauty, and the first gold top ever made used to hang above me. So I put my 1965 Gil Starfire jazz box, which I never liked. I was like, that's a boring guitar. It's like really boring. It's nothing to. Tommy comes in and goes, I worked for Tom Doyle, and Tom Doyle just sold he sold the second blacktop made to the owner of the Indianapolis Colts for a couple of $300,000-$400,000, and he just sold the first Les Paul gold top ever made. He just sold it like last year. So wow. Tommy comes in and goes, that's the greatest guitar ever. That's a pure rock and roll, that guitar. And I go, wow. That's the second Black Beauty. Oh, not that. Oh, that's the first gold top list. No, not that one. The Guild in the middle. And I had a for sale sign on it. I said, Tommy, take the guitar home for the weekend. See if you like it, you can buy it. So I left the employment there, and I never got in touch with Tommy. Thank you, Carrie Ash. So Carrie says to me, let's go see James Taylor's sister. I forget her name. So
I heard her mention her.
Yeah, so we go to the cutting room, and I knew Gene Cornish because I set up this great party. I had Bucky Pizzarelli and Gene Bertoncini. I had the Les Paul Trio open up for Bucky and Gene Bertoncini, and they opened up for 3/4 of the Vanilla Fudge. Yes. But Gene Cornish, Richard Cannata played with Billy Joel, and Steve Miller's sax player.
Kate Taylor.
And Arnold Heck so I hired the whole band. It was a huge party, and Carmine was on drums. Carmine and the singer from Deep Purple. So we had a great. It was a great time. But I went to see Kate. Carrie invited me, and I met her down there. And I see Gene. I say hello to Dean, and I turn around, and there's Tommy James. And I said, Tommy, it's TJ from, oh my God, yeah, how you doing? I'm doing great. He goes, what's funny? I got a guitar from Tommy, and he never called me, and I never paid him, and he never called me. And I said, no. That was my guitar. And I got to tell you, it's a gift from me to you. And thank you for all. I walked into in California and LA. I walked into some hippie chick coffee shop, and Toe in the Line is on. People think, all his songs. And as a kid, I grew up on that. And I said, Tommy, that's a gift to me, from me. And the guitar's worth like $3,000 or $4,000 now. I said, it's just a gift. He goes, what can I do? I said, here's my card. Why don't you send me a piece of shit guitar? Sign it and send it to me.
It's funny, man.
I love Tommy James.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the pop icons of that whole era.
We have a viewer that I think knows you. Let me find her. Yes, I gotta go because she said this a little while ago.
They have a badge.
No, her name.
I am not a crook.
Her name is Gina Mendello. She says, you look great on camera. You need your own show.
Gina, when the heck you coming back down here to Key West, girl?
And then she says, I already know all your stories. Now you can forward this to your new friends and save your voice.
Listen, Gina is world-renowned, one of the greatest fingerstyle guitar managers. She managed and brought to fame the great Tommy Emmanuel. For 15 years. I don't know if you've heard of Tommy. In the guitar world, he's the greatest in the world right now, greatest alive. Incredible. She brought him to fame, and she hates when I say this. And I said, but what are you nuts? This is what you do. So, and she knows how to book. She knows everything about the industry. She worked Sony Pictures, Sony movie pictures, Sony Records in Australia. And then Tommy asked her to manage her, and she's the most incredible gracious person in the business.
Well, Gina, it's nice to have you on the show, Gina, or have you visiting. Very.
Well, she's here for TJ, but
well, we always like to meet another incredible person in the industry. Trust me, it's good.
You know what? You might want to interview her at one point because
I would be thrilled. Let me tell you this: the whole premise for the show, and I mean, we're going to have to do part 2 of this because we're already almost out of time. But the whole premise for me doing this show was to be able to just talk back and forth with the friends that I miss or the new friends that I don't get to meet because I'm on the road or they're on the road. And so this is my chance to hang backstage. Believe me, if she wants to come on the show and tell, it's never going to be boring because we love what we do. I got to have Carrie on.
I know. We got to get Carrie on. I don't, she's like, no one's going to want to hear me. Oh, I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah, right. Believe me, they can hear you whether they want to or not.
And I will tell you this, one of our regular viewers, she's been watching us for almost 2 years now, every night, and she lives in Atlanta, and she's a Rat Race fan. She says, you do need your own show.
There you
Lori
go.
Richardson is her name. So there
okay.
You go.
What's her name?
Lori Richardson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're liking you, TJ.
So maybe I'll sign you up to the network and
That's right.
find a time slot and a couple of good sponsors and let's go.
Any times, I had to be very careful because I did a newspaper interview down here in Key West. I said to my friend Rob O'Neill, he's a great photographer at the newspaper. I said, Rob, I worked with Les Paul and Bucky Pitts, all these great. I always wanted to get my picture in the newspaper as person of the day in Key West.
Oh.
And he goes, the hell with that. You have an incredible story. We're going to do an article about you. So I went in and I told him the Henry lived down the block and Big Paulie, and they made it sound like I was part of the Goodfellas crew. So no one messes with me. But I broke my arm. I just want to tell this quickly. I broke my arm in half when I was 22, 3 years old. I was at Five Towns Music College, and a year later, I had metal plates put in. I had a 6-inch metal plate here, 6-inch here, carpal tunnel. That's my hand. And a year later, the doctors took the plates out, and they damaged so badly my ulnar nerve that I got a very debilitating, painful, incurable nerve disease called RSD. And I was paralyzed for 10 years, 11 years like this in my arm. And I had to drop out of music college, couldn't play guitar for 15 years. And I was one of the biggest legal drug addicts in this country. I was on 15 Percocet, 80 milligrams of Valium, sleeping pills.
Oh.
I'm Key West. I'm the only one who ever did this, probably. I moved to Key West.
You're cutting
Wait a
out.
minute, you're freezing.
What's
you're
happening?
freezing. Hold on. You moved to Key West.
You froze.
Hold it there.
You froze.
We froze on Key. All right, you moved to Key West.
Okay.
No,
Your signal's frozen. Okay, it's coming back. What happened?
I don't know.
All right, at 8 o'clock. Did something happen?
I think so, yeah.
Did something happen to your cell tower at 8 o'clock in Key West?
Oh, boom.
He's gone?
Wow.
What?
Like the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, what happens to the cell phones or
I
whatever?
don't know.
in Key
Maybe
West?
that's a Key West thing. We'll wait and see if he comes back on just for a
Oh,
minute. We're
come
over
on.
time
You
anyway.
can't leave us hanging like this.
Yeah,
We have questions. We didn't ask him the questions.
Well, tomorrow is
Free for all Friday.
For all Friday.
You can come in on-
And
Is he back? Come on back, TJ.
come on back.
I think I
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
okay, you got
Kinda.
Yeah. You're cutting out.
you're in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
I got yeah.
that's better.
Is it?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay. So I quit this huge drug addiction in one day. It took me 10 years to recover, but I started exercising, and I couldn't play guitar. I started playing guitar hour a day, and then I started playing it was easy to play guitar 4 hours a day when you're on 360 milligrams of morphine.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess
When
it
I
took you.
quit, there was a restaurant in Key West called Munja Munja, and I lived across the street. And I would go out in the middle of the night and sit on this bench and play guitar. And I was so lucky. I had some of the great fingerstyle guitar players and guitar, Al Caiola and Bucky Pizzarelli and Tom Bresh and Buster B. Jones, all these fingerstyle guitar players that gave me inspiration and lessons. And I'd sit for 2-3 hours a day trying to play guitar, and finally learned. And I have about 40, 50 originals now. It's great. But
Wow.
my point is that I quit. There's a switch in your brain, and it's very hard to find. And I said, I'm done. I'm completely done.
I know where that switch is. I know
Yeah.
where that switch is.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's a great switch to find.
Well, depending on how I used it for tobacco personally.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was the only thing that I really couldn't get away. I mean, that was just a beast.
Yeah.
That was worse than. Well, I don't know how. That was the worst thing that I was ever dragged onto. But hey, listen, you know what? It's okay. It's all good. But listen, we're running so long, and I want to tell you a couple of important things. Number one is that Friday nights, which happens to be
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, is Free for All Friday, and everybody that's ever been in can come in. They come in for a minute, they come in for the whole thing, and the stories that go back and forth in there are absolutely insane. And you're welcome to join us there. Same time, yeah.
Can Pearl come?
Absolutely, please, I insist. I insist.
Definitely.
And I want to thank Carrie again. Thank you, Carrie, for introducing us.
Tell you what, we love Carrie.
Yep.
I mean, God, I've known her forever.
He has.
I really,
He lived in White Plains.
Yeah,
and
because
she
I
worked
grew up in White Plains, and,
Yeah.
and they used to. Well, you know.
You know.
So, did Angus send you? What's that?
I'm in the know.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to run through the questions real fast. Did Angus send you the questions?
He mentioned them. Yeah.
Do just rapid fire. You ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite restaurant on the road?
My bird's favorite restaurant, Pearl's favorite restaurant is Cracker Barrel because they got mashed potatoes. That's
Yes! We love Cracker Barrel!
Love Cracker Barrel. Okay. Favorite song to play live?
Well, I saw Les Paul for over 200 shows, and I love, and it's basically the only song I know besides my 50 originals, is Sweet Georgia Brown.
Oh, Sweet Georgia Brown. Okay. Then, song you never want to play or hear again.
I wake up 4 times a week, and I drive the car, and I sing it to the bird. The bird can't stand it. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. I love Hayden's relationship with that song.
Okay,
Paul,
Hey, Pearl, I'm with you. I'm with
my
you,
friend
Pearl.
Paul plays with Missing Persons, and he plays with Wang Chung Band. And then he sends me this article, and it says Wang Chung arrested for drunk driving. There's a guy in North California. His name's Wang Chung. There's a mugshot. I figured now I know where Wang Chung is tonight. Yeah.
Oh, everybody Wang Chung tonight.
There you go.
My friend puts on Facebook, he puts like this esoteric Bruce Springsteen, Joe Rock. He puts this esoteric Bruce. If you don't know what this song is, and I'm like, hey, Joe, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell Wang Chung tonight means.
I think it's the sound, but the round way, probably 52s, heavy bottoms,
And Laurie's gonna have this song stuck in her head for 5 days.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'll have to listen to the Archie Sugar.
Yeah, that'll erase anything.
Yes.
Okay, guitar player by nature, but if you could shred, kill at any other instrument, piccolo, gong, anything, what would it be?
Probably piano.
Okay.
Oh,
excellent
most
choice.
guitar
Piano.
players say that.
Many guitar players pick
they
piano.
do.
All right, and now this is the big one, and I'll give you a minute to sort this one out because if you didn't prep it can be a little daunting. But if you could play or see one live show with anybody living or dead or any combination of guys, who would it be?
It was 1979, The Bottom Line. Les Paul and Chet Atkins.
Wow, okay.
Well, the first concert I ever went to. I went down to Jones, probably maybe the first concert I went to Jones Beach, and the Platters were playing. And I was like 11 or 10, and I saw a sign on the telephone pole. It says, next week, Benny Goodman. And I said, Ma, can we go see Benny Goodman? I was like 11. My mother goes, how the hell do you know who Benny Goodman was? I said, I saw him on TV. I saw him playing clarinet on TV. And she took me to see Benny Goodman.
You saw Benny Goodman?
Wow.
Probably. And Bucky, they wheeled up on a tractor with a stage on wheels, and the 19 guys got on stage, and Benny Goodman played on Jones Beach on the sand.
Wow! Well, yeah. Oh,
he
man.
played on one of those stages
I played
on
on
wheels.
Hot Dog Beach with Rat Race.
Yeah, but you played on the Showmobile.
Oh yeah,
in White
I played
Plains.
on the that's how it all really started for me on the
Showmobile.
Showmobile. Oh shit, TJ, man, I can sit here with you for another
Yeah.
hour, and what I'll probably do is call you back, and we'll pick it up. But truthfully, first of all, please come in tomorrow night if you want, just to hang.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. The stories that go back and forth, and it's nothing but laughs.
Same
And
time, same
Pearl,
channel.
In fact, Pearl can have, if she's got her own phone, she can have her own little square.
Yeah, it's like
All
the Brady Bunch squares.
Any way you want to do it. But it's usually, a half a dozen, 9, 10 guys and, and girls in there, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. So you're a member of the family now, whether you like it or not.
Will you send me a link?
I
to
will.
that?
I will, absolutely. I'll make sure Angus reaches out. But what I'll do is we'll do the contact thing, and I'll give you a call tomorrow. And are you around tomorrow during the day?
I am. And thank
Okay,
you,
cool.
Angus. Thank you, Angus, so much.
Okay, and I think you have a friend named Craig Hollenbach. He's been watching the show, and he said this is a great show.
Thank
Craig,
you.
There you go.
Yeah, Craig is just a patron, a lover, a guitar player, and a lover of guitars and music, and a dear friend I've known for about 22 years down here. Great,
Wow.
great. I'm sure he'll follow your show.
Oh,
Well,
you know what?
You know
He can
what?
come on
I
if
would
he's
be
a-
more than happy to have
music
him.
business.
And this has
Yeah.
been great, man. I've really enjoyed this. It carried, and the thing about Angus, putting Angus in between us this way, I've been dying to just riff with you on the phone, but we'll do that when we do
Right.
it. But it's really to preserve this
Yeah.
instantaneous, spontaneous conversation that two musicians have, or two, because you just get it. And,
Let's do 10 shows and then we'll be bored with each other and talk on the phone.
Exactly right.
Hey, I'm sure the people would love to have you back.
This was a blast, and I hope we see you tomorrow. I actually will call you tomorrow during the day, and we'll catch up.
Where's
on
that bird named Pearl? Where's
She's
that
over
bird
here.
named Pearl?
She's getting ready for birdie bed. But
She
yeah.
heard Wayne Chung and she hit the road.
Yeah.
and Steve, thank you again, Steve, for your musical influences and all of those great experiences. You made me want to be a musician. You made me wanted to go and play guitar, work on guitar, play guitar. You guys were so fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Well, Fab Bay, man, you know what? That's what it is, and we pass it along, and you've been passing it along, and thank you, and you're welcome. And
And I said to Carrie, get down here to Florida, and let's all get together. She said, I hate Florida. I hate. Wait a second. What are you? You're the only New Yorker who hates Florida.
That's all. Isn't that like against her religion? You can't hate Florida. Is she anti-Flemitic?
Carrie and I have this relationship because she has the same model parrot as Pearl.
I know. We know BJ.
And it's great because I call BJ Pearl's rabbi. Because all the holidays she dresses the bird up. On a Jewish holiday, she dresses up like a rabbi.
I know.
And on
I've
Halloween,
seen
he's
him.
a jailbird.
Oh.
And he's a Mexican bird for the Mexican. But that's
I want-
Pearl's rabbi.
I want her to come on the show and tell how she named BJ.
Yeah, because I'm sure you know that story, how she named him.
Her.
I know the name. No, I gotta call it.
Oh, I can't. No. I have to save this. See, this is what I'm saying about the
it's
show.
priceless.
The story of how that bird got named. And
Yes.
oh my God, you know what? I've got my very own Mrs. Maisel.
I met her probably 1998 backstage at Les Paul, and Les was the most magnetic soul I ever met. And
I met him once. I met him once. He came to see us play in Wayne, New Jersey at Mother's.
Yeah, and I'm sure John Entwistle had magnetism to him. I'm sure you know that feeling.
Well, yeah, it was actually Rat Race that he came to see. It was back then, back in the 70s.
No,
yeah.
But I'm saying I'm sure John had a massive amount of magnetism. But
No question.
His Les Paul and Steve Miller and and here comes Carrie, and everyone's like, whoa. She's a wonderful magnetic soul.
And as beautiful as it gets, and
inside and out.
Yeah, we love her, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's she's been a friend for a long time, a real friend for a long time, and that's why when she made this connection, I knew it was solid gold. So
And Lori, she has the greatest email address.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Piece of ash.
I know.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
the greatest
Oh,
email address.
She's very funny.
Last night, at the end of the show, I was talking about you being on, and I said, Jeff, if you're watching, you can kiss my ash.
Well, yeah, because we're gonna see Carrie Ash tomorrow night.
So we'll catch up with Carrie.
Yeah.
It would be. I'd love to get her on the show. I'd love to do the whole like Long Island free for all would be insane.
Yeah.
But we'll get it done, brother. And I will absolutely reach out to you tomorrow. That work?
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what? Just text me first.
I will, so you'll know it's
Yeah.
me. I believe me. I know that drill.
Yeah. Love you, Steve. Love you, Lori.
Love you
You
right
too,
back,
TJ.
TJ, man. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Give Pearl a kiss.
Yes,
I
give
will.
a peck or whatever's safe. All
Give her a kiss. She doesn't.
right, cool.
Good.
Give her a kiss.
Hey,
Take
I
care,
gotta go.
brother.
I gotta go watch YouTube. Wang Chung is on tonight.
Go ahead, Wang Chung. Go get him, man. Go.
I can't stand that song.
Oh, don't let us hear it anymore. Okay, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Teach.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye,
And thank you,
TJ.
Angus.
Yeah, thank you, Angus.
Angus. Yep.
That's too much. And we're back.
He was great.
He was great. Carrie, you were
Let's
right.
hear from TJ.
Well played, girl.
Man,
well
I could have sat
played.
there for 2 more hours listening to him.
Yeah, oh, well, you probably will. So, wow, man, that was, yeah, you know, when you start to get on a roll like that, it's like, where do you...
Well, all of the children of the lawn loved the show.
Well, I promised that we would get them out by 8 o'clock, and it's, you know...
It's
but you
8:16. They're all bailing out. So tomorrow night, you know what it is.
That's
Free
right.
for all Friday.
Free for all Friday. Come on, kids, you know what it is. Be there or be square. Do they still now?
No, they don't see that. No.
Be there, R2D2.
We're fire, man. We're fire.
Oh, we are fire. Oh, yes, we are fire. Oh,
All right.
We are fire.
So you know what
Smell
you
that?
say.
It's fire. I say, if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.